Israeli terrorism on Gaza continues, killing 3 Palestinians, and the resistance retaliates, killing 3 Israeli soldiers. The Syrian Arab Army foils terrorist attempts to infiltrate from Lebanese borders and eliminates terrorists who attacked Nawa. Russian representative to the UN, Vitaly Churkin, denounces ISIS terrorist attack against a Sha'ir gas field in Homs. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. Syria has welcomed the appointment of Staffan de Mistura as the UN Special Envoy to the UN out of its belief in a political solution to the crisis in Syria through dialogue between the Syrians and with the Syrian leadership. Stating this in a message addressed to the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, the Foreign and Expatriates Ministry hoped Mistura would pursue an objective, honest policy based on the rules of international law and the principles of the UN Charter, and would honor national sovereignty and non-intervention in internal affairs and respect the will and options of the Syrian people. The UN Secretary General had appointed Mistura as the UN envoy to Syria on the 10th of this month to succeed the former envoy al-Akhdar al-Brahimi, who tendered his resignation last May. 3 Palestinians were killed today during the ongoing Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip that began 16 days ago. 2 were killed in the air raid that targeted Beit Lahia, north of the Strip, and 1 in the shelling of the town of Khan Yunis, south of Gaza, thus raising the death toll of Palestinian martyrs since the beginning of the Israeli aggression on Gaza to 654, according to Palestinian medical sources. In retaliation to the Israeli barbaric aggression on Gaza Strip, the Palestinian resistance announced that its fighters were able to hit an IF-16 fighter jet above Deir al-Balah in Gaza. This is the first operation which targets Israeli warplanes over Gaza, as the resistance had already shot down a number of Israeli drones flying over Gaza Strip. Welcome back. Syrian Arab Army units have eliminated armed men in Bab al-Hadid, Qadi Askar, Ain al-Tal, al-Layramun, Tal Rifat, and the ancient part of Aleppo, and destroyed their weapons and ammunition. The Syrian Arab Army also destroyed a number of terrorist machine gun provided vehicles in Khan al-Asal, Anadan, Al-Bab, Deir Hafir, Hanano, Al-Hadir, Urm al-Sughra, and Babis in the governorate countryside. In Daraa countryside, Syrian Arab Army units intercepted an attack by terrorist groups in the direction of Nawa city, eliminating a large number of them. A Syrian Arab Army unit foiled an infiltration attempt into Tallet Houran on the road between Jassim and Nawa. In Damascus countryside, Syrian Arab Army units targeted terrorist gatherings in Khan al-Sheikh farms and Kharbet al-Abbasiyah and eliminated a number of them. The Syrian Arab Army also destroyed a number of vehicles along Khan al-Sheikh Zakiya highway. In Iraq, the security forces carried out a series of operations against the terrorist Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, capturing 11 members of the organization north of Baghdad. A sniper was killed in Ba'quba. In Diyali, the Iraqi army arrested 2 persons who were trying to plant an explosive device north of Ba'quba. 22 people were killed and 54 others were wounded in a booby-trapped car explosion at a police checkpoint in Baghdad. An Iraqi police source said a suicide bomber detonated the car at the entrance of al-Qadimiyah neighborhood north of Baghdad, killing and wounding a number of civilians. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the terrorist attacks in booby-trapped cars that occurred in the Iraqi capital Baghdad early this week. Russia's permanent ambassador at the UN, Vitaly Churkin, condemned the terrorist attack of al-Qaeda-affiliated Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant against a Bashar gas field in Homs. Speaking at the Security Council meeting, Churkin cited this attack to stress again the necessity that the Council approve a Russia-proposed draft resolution on the illegality of purchasing oil from terrorist groups in Syria and Iraq. He pointed out that the Russian draft affirms the principle of the countries having full control over the natural resources in their territories. Finally, an Egyptian court issued prison sentences for 3 journalists who work for the Qatari Al Jazeera TV, citing their support of the terrorist Muslim Brotherhood terrorist organization. Egyptian sources stressed that the 3 suspects were trying to distort Egypt's reputation by getting involved in activities which damage Egypt's national interest. The 3 journalists are Canadian Mohammed Fadl Fahmy, Australian Peter Grest, and the Egyptian Baher Mohammed. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Vani Gunjan, but after a short break.
Good afternoon. The Minister of Electricity, Imad Khamis, has discussed with the Chinese ambassador in Damascus means of cooperation between the 2 countries in the field of electric power investment, as well as following up the procedures of the signed contracts and the projects between the 2 sides. The minister also pointed out that the government plans to share many Chinese companies in several tenders that are related to importing in the electricity sector. Furthermore, the minister called for activating a communication mechanism with the Chinese companies in order to promote investment in Syria. The Minister of Economy and Foreign Trade, Khudr Urfali, affirmed that the ministry focuses on outlining an economic policy for this year, asserting that the ministry had developed a significant program for the Syrian economy, taking into consideration the conditions and obstacles imposed by the current crisis. On the other hand, the program included 3 major stages. The most important one is developing the current economic situation in terms of growth, quantitative and qualitative sources, in addition to financial and monetary sources and social protection. The Minister of Industry has denied the rise in the prices of cement, clarifying that a comprehensive study will be done for all production costs. On the other hand, he asserted that fuel prices have not changed, as it was at 50,000 Syrian pounds per ton. Homs governor has inspected the industrial city of Hassia and met the members and head of the Chamber of Industry as he made a tour in the factories and industrial facilities. The industrial city of Adra is witnessing an important movement through receiving raw materials, while the factories resume production as their products were being circulated inside and outside the country. On the other hand, the factories increased their production and provided various kinds of commodities like foodstuff, medical, textile, chemical, and construction material. The investment offers of Semiramis Hotel have been concluded yesterday, as the logistics company of Nezha won the tender by 4 billion Syrian pounds. Moreover, the investors pledged to contribute in constructing the national economy. And now over to some main currencies exchange rates according to the bulletin of the Central Bank of Syria. With this, we conclude our news. Thank you for watching and goodbye.